Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Josh, and this is your stimulus check update for the next stimulus package for Friday, January 8th. I hope everyone is off to a good and safe start to their Friday so far, and that you all have a wonderful weekend ahead. In this video, I'll be discussing updates in regards to the current relief package and the third stimulus check. I'll also be discussing the $2,000 direct payments, what we can expect over the next few months, and then I'll be wrapping up this video by answering some of the comments and questions that I received in my previous video. But first, if you would remember quickly, liking this video, give me a big thumbs up. It really just helps with the YouTube algorithm in terms of pushing this video out to other viewers like you, and hopefully helping other people like you as well. Okay, so with Nancy Pelosi's threats of impeaching President Trump if Mike Pence doesn't invoke the 25th Amendment first, the next couple weeks are sure to be full of drama in our nation's capital. On January 20th, Joe Biden will be inaugurated as president, where one of his first goals will be to pass additional relief. After calling the most recent $900 billion relief package a down payment, we can expect him to be shooting for at least another $1 trillion in aid. Of course, it's really going to be up to what Congress thinks, considering Biden does not have the power to pass executive orders for this relief. Well, unless you're Elizabeth Warren and you think that Biden canceling $50,000 in student loan debt is some type of moral obligation. Don't get me wrong, canceling thousands of dollars in student loan debt, or any debt for that matter, would help Americans out greatly, but by doing so, Biden would face serious legal challenges as it would be a clear overreach of executive authority. Wiping out student loan debt, just like anything else, would need to pass through both chambers of Congress before being signed into law by the president. Nevertheless, Congress has agreed to get some type of relief, significant relief, passed once Joe Biden gets into office. And really, it would be a huge disappointment if they weren't able to do so, considering that was what the Democrats campaigned on. Remember when they said, if you vote for us to win the Senate and we then control the House, Senate, and the White House, we'll make sure you get those $2,000 checks. I do, and I'm sure everyone else does also. So, by failing to deliver on that promise, just like most politicians do, it would be yet another letdown to Americans who need this money the most. Chuck Schumer, who will wind up being the new Senate Majority Leader, also said that passing a bill with $2,000 stimulus checks in them would be his #1 priority in the Senate. So, let's wait and see if they can get it done. As I mentioned in previous videos, even though Democrats do have a majority in both chambers in Congress, they'll still need at least 60 votes to pass through the bill through the Senate. This means they'll need at least 10 Republicans to reach over and approve the bill as well, which may not be an easy task. We'll also have to wait and see how fast they can push this through. While I highly doubt it's going to take another 9 months for this bill to pass, it could take a while if they try to add multiple revisions to this bill. So, for example, if Nancy Pelosi pushes for billions of dollars in aid for state and local, and Mitch McConnell pushes for his liability protections, the bill could possibly get held up for months over those two issues. Let's hope not. Delaying this bill any further will only slow down our recovery. Other than a stimulus relief package, Democrats also hope to raise the federal minimum wage, which is currently at $7.25 an hour, up to $15 an hour. Lawmakers who support this increase argue that the current minimum wage isn't livable. In fact, the last time the federal minimum wage has been raised was 2009. If you work full-time for an entire year, you would only earn $15,080. Back in 2009, that wasn't a whole lot of money, and it has only eroded over time due to inflation. Of course, many states and cities have already recently increased their minimum wages, many to $15 or even higher. According to the National Employment Law Project, by the end of 2021, 40 cities and counties will have at least a $15 minimum wage. However, on the flip side of things, some lawmakers, mostly Republicans, argue that raising the federal minimum wage would cause employers to lay off workers. This would especially hurt small businesses who are less likely to have the cash reserves to afford higher labor costs. For the Walmarts, Costco's, and Targets of the world, with the profits they earn, $15 per hour won't be a huge issue. But for your local small businesses, barely trying to get by, that would cause a lot of them to either go under or force them to lay off their employees. In addition to that, we may end up seeing more automation with the increase in minimum wage, which of course could always happen regardless. And it has been happening. Despite the minimum wage not increasing when going to Walmart, for example, I hardly ever see any cashiers available for checkout. Usually it's the self-checkout line and maybe 1 or 2 cashiers available. So that argument isn't a real strong one for me. Okay, so back to stimulus talk. As far as the first round of $600 direct payments go, it is expected that around 8 million payments will be mailed out over the next week in the form of prepaid debit cards. If you remember, in the first round, these prepaid debit cards were sent in plain white envelopes, not easily recognized, and many people ended up throwing them in the trash. This time around, in order to prevent that, the IRS plans on placing a U.S. Department of the Treasury seal. So, over the next few weeks, if you plan on receiving your direct payment in the mail, I'd highly recommend being a little bit more picky over which pieces of mail you throw out. Just like last time, these cards can be used to make purchases online or in store, or you can get cash from in-network ATMs. It's also possible that if you receive a check last time around, you may get one of these cards, so either way, check your mail closely and be on the lookout for your payment very soon. Okay, so at this point in time, I'm going to move right along to answering some of the comments and questions that I received in my previous video. And if you do have any other comments or questions for me, please feel free to leave them in the comment section below. I do try to answer as many of the comments and questions as I possibly can, but for those comments and questions I'm not able to respond to, I do try to pick some of the more popular ones to answer in the next video in video form. Okay, so without further ado, let me go ahead and jump into the first comment of today's video, which is from Nicole. Nicole says, when is the last day for the second stimulus check to get sent out? Okay, thank you so much for your question, Nicole. And according to the IRS, the last day in which you should receive your direct payment will be January 15th. Of course, also on their website, they mentioned that paper checks can take 3 to 4 weeks to arrive in the mail. So obviously, if they mail out your check on the 10th, you may not receive it until February. If that's the case, and you're waiting much longer than the 15th of January to receive your payment, then I would go ahead and claim the $600 payment as a credit on your tax returns you file this year. Also, if you check the payment portal and it says that your payment status is not available, then per the recommendation by the IRS, you also need to claim a credit on your tax returns as well. Okay, moving right along to the next question of today's video, which is from Tracy. Tracy says, I never received the first stimulus check and I'm on SSI. It's hard because the food is expensive in Ohio. Okay, thank you so much for your question, and I'm so sorry that you never ended up even receiving your first direct payment. Since you're on SSI, as long as you started receiving it before 2020, then you definitely should need to take any action in order to receive your payment. On the other hand, if you started receiving your benefits in 2020, then you would have needed to fill out the non-filers tool by November 21st in order to receive your payment. Since that deadline has already passed, if you are eligible for these payments, then you can go ahead and claim an $1,800 credit on the tax returns you file this year, which is the combined amount between the first and second round of direct payments. As mentioned though, it's quite possible that you may not have received the payments simply because you were not eligible. For example, if you were claimed as a dependent by someone else, then unfortunately, you would not be eligible to receive a payment. Alright, moving along to the next question of today's video, which is from Patricia. Patricia says, Hi Josh, I received my granddaughter's money in the first stimulus, so why haven't I received the second one? Okay, thank you so much for your question, and this is a problem I've seen quite a bit. Believe it or not, there are quite a few people who have received their $600 payments, but they haven't yet received the payments for their dependents under the age of 17. While the IRS was supposed to combine your payment with your dependents' payments, it's still quite possible they may end up sending you an additional payment for the amount that you're supposed to receive for your dependents under the age of 17. However, if they don't by January 15th, then as mentioned, you'll need to go ahead and claim $600 for each dependent you have on the tax returns you file this year. This would also be the case for people who had newborns in 2020. Since the IRS is basing these relief payments off of your most recent tax returns, then they won't notice your extra dependents. So when you go to file your tax returns this year, if you had a newborn, you'll be able to claim $1,100 total in tax credits, which would be the combined payments from the first and second round of stimulus. With that said, in order to receive this money quickly, I would make sure that you file these tax returns electronically, and I'd also recommend that you submit them as quickly as possible. Alright, so on that note, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this video. If you did enjoy the content in this video and you'd like to see more videos like it, please consider subscribing to my YouTube channel. It is completely free to do so, and it's a great support to me. Also, if you'd like to receive 4 free stocks from Webull, with 2 of them valued all the way up to $1,600 each, or 1 free stock from Robinhood just for signing up, please feel free to claim those free stocks by clicking the link in the description box below. And finally, if you join Rakuten with my referral link in the description box below and spend at least $20, Rakuten will give you $20 cash back. This means that you can buy an item through Rakuten with one of their referral links, such as Nike, for $20, which would be right around $22 after tax, and Rakuten will give you $20 just for making that purchase. This is just an incredible deal that I would love for everyone to take advantage of. Okay, so until next time, I'll see you guys, and I hope you have a great day today.